Hi everyone, so today I've just fitted a set of tubeless tyres to Zoe's ride, and on the social media what I've had is a few comments back that people have had difficulties in fitting tubeless tyres, or they're not holding pressure. So I fitted quite a few of these in my time, so what I wanted to do is just run through the very basics of fitting tubeless tyres to make it as simple and easy for you. Nothing to be afraid of, and very simple. So yeah, let's get started. So first and foremost, may seem obvious, but you need to ensure that your rims are tubeless ready, or they are tubeless rims, because a tubeless rim is different to a clincher, for example. You also need to ensure that your tyres are tubeless ready or tubeless. Again, the tyres are different. The bead is much different to a normal clincher tyre. It's very dangerous if you try to make a clincher tyre to be tubeless. So yeah, very important points. Okay, once you've got those sorted, let's get cracking. Tubeless tyres, why would we put them on? That's one of the questions often get asked. Well, you can run at lower pressures, so there's more comfort, you get more grip on the road because you're running a lower pressure, so you get more surface contact. There is less rolling resistance with them as opposed to a clincher, so in effect they can be a quicker tyre to run. And obviously then you've got your reduced risk of punctures because they are self-sealing. If you've got small punctures, you'll just the latex in the tyre will just seal it. So yeah, it sounds all good, but yeah, there have been a few problems if people have been fitting them and things like that. So this is what this video's about. You've got your rim and you're ready to start fitting your tubeless tyres. Essentially what you're looking to do with a tubeless tyre, obviously it's no inner tube. So basically you need a quality rim tape, and this goes across and around the rim. And now it's very important that you spend the time installing your rim tape and take so much care with this. He said it is worth taking the time because effectively this is where all the problems are. Okay, so make sure this is in and nice and sealed. Run round the edges with like a plastic tyre lever, for example, just to make sure that's pressed. A soft rag, rub it round so there's no bubbles. So yeah, take your time and just run the tape all the way around the rim. Press it in and make it a nice seal, because effectively that's what's keeping your rim airtight. Once you've done that, you need to then find where the valve is, and you just a little pierce, so a pinprick will just pierce it, rather than scissors or a knife cut, because that can make the hole too big. Because what you want to do is make a slight pinprick and then use the valve, which is your tubeless valve, is to make the hole as big as it needs to be. Okay, so you just push that in and then tighten it up. Not too tight though at the start, so you just want to tighten that up just nice and loosely, so you've still got a bit of movement between your outer rim and the inner rim, so you can just move it up and down whilst you're fitting your tyre. Okay, so once you've got your valve in, you're then fitting the tyre. Now the fitting of the tyre is exactly the same as a clincher tyre. So again, just take your time. If you can, and you're in the UK and it's a little bit colder, do this in the house. Allow the tyre to warm up a bit. It does make it a little bit easier. So you just want to push the tyre on as you would a normal clincher tyre. But again, be nice and gentle, because what you don't want to do, and you've got to be careful of, is upsetting that rim tape. Because quite often, the problems I've always found with tubeless tyres when they've come in to see me where they've been loss of pressure, is the rim tape's been damaged or wrinkled up, or they've just lifted the edge of it, breaking that airtight seal. So it's just really important that you get the tyre on and fit it into the well of the tyre, into the rim. Okay, then when you're putting the other side of the tyre on, you're reducing the circumference of the tyre, so it makes it easier to pop it on. Okay, so once you've got your tyre popped on, you've then got to create a seal between the rim of your tyre and the bead, and that's the second seal. That's what's making it airtight. So you've got your rim tape making the rim airtight, then you've got your tyre bead against the rim, which makes the rest of it airtight. So what you want to do, now I always put the full tyre on. A lot of people will actually leave the last third of this and then insert the sealant or liquid sealant into the tyre before they pop the rest of the tyre on. I prefer to get the tyre on first before I start with the sealant. That way you're just reducing the mess and risk of it just slopping all over the thing, because that will happen no matter how careful you are. So I put the tyre on first and then I start to look at putting the sealant in. Tyre is on, I can tighten up the valve, so just by screwing that up, there's a little rubber O-ring in here which seals against the rim. So you just want to tighten that up, not too tight where you're actually crushing it so it's super tight, but you want it nice and tight to create a seal. So just tighten that valve up, and then what you want to do to start to introduce your sealant is you remove the valve with a valve key. You just take that out, and then you apply your sealant with use of essentially a syringe. You can buy these kits, so I'd just invest in one of those, and then obviously what you do, you fill your sealant up into your syringe and pop that through the valve, and then inflate the amount. So you're looking around about 60 to 80 mil of sealant for probably a 28 mil tyre. You've got your sealant in there now. Now before you start to inflate, and this is one of the key points, what I always do is I put a bit of pressure on the tyre and just roll it the full circumference of the tyre. So what you're doing there is you're lining all of the tyre with the sealant. So that tyre is going to squeeze. So you might see a bit of sealant seeping out the edges. That's perfectly fine. That's what you want, because if there's any leaks, that'll do. It also assists in seating the tyre onto the rim as well. So yeah, just roll it a nice firm press on the tyre, roll it the full circumference of the wheel. Then you're into inflating. So tyre pressure, so you just need a track pump and pump and pump and pump and pump. Now what you'll do is you'll hear a crack. Now that's the tyre seating onto the rim. Once you hear that nice healthy crack, you're quite confident that you've got a nice seal on the rim. Then inflate to the correct pressure. So they run a lot lower, so you can run as low as sometimes 45, 50, 60. Zoe's here, she's running at about 65, 70 psi. So you can just play around with that. The tyre has a maximum on these tyres here. These are Conti's 5000. They have a maximum psi of about 95. So don't go beyond that. So yeah, inflate the tyres and then have a look. What you'll find is you'll find a little line that runs around the rim of the tyre. So just inspect it to make sure, that visually inspect it to see if it's all equal, and you can see that the tyre is seated quite nicely on there. And there you go, that's your tyre fitted. As simple as that. Valve. So now a couple of problems you may have, and a little few additions to that is you've got the wheel on and you're trying to pump, and you're just pumping and air is just coming out, so it's not inflating the tyre at all. So what do you do? Quite often you may not have the tools to do it, so there is you can get these track pumps with a canister. So you inflate the canister and then you inject a big lump of pressure into the tyre quickly. You could also do that with a gas cylinder, that's the alternative. But what I would recommend is, once you've done that, that is exploding the tyre onto the rim. That's what you want to do. So by all means, if you're having struggle, get your gas cartridge cylinder, inflate it, bosh, up it goes. But then what you need to do is take out that thing, because the CO2 can sometimes, on some sealants, damage or be detrimental to the sealant. So you want to, once you've sealed it onto the rim, deflate the tyre and evacuate that oil, and then pump it up with a normal track pump. If it's still not seating, or another option is some soapy water. So get some nice soapy water and run it around the rim. What that does, it acts as a lubricant to pop the tyre onto the rim when you're inflating it. But if you've done the first section first, so your rim tape is fine, and you've actually put the sealant in and rolled it around the rim, I'm pretty much sure you'll have a problem-free installation. Hope that helps, and any problems, yeah, drop me a line.